because it gives me slightly better quality. If I can get the thing to go in. I'm looking out over the Indian Ocean and it is reasonably flat this morning, a very light breeze. Looking forward to seeing your comments here. Thank you for those who tried to connect before on this thing, but I was having trouble working out the settings and getting it to take in 16 by 9 instead of 9 by 16. But I have these glasses on so I can read your comments. And are there any yet? Coming shortly. And if you, hello Joseph. I'm off to Japan this week, and I am very excited about that. It's one of the great races of the year. Hello, Gonzalo and Matteo. Kim, that's the wrong spelling. That's Kim Keedle, Kim from Oscar Piastri's team. But I'm heading off to Suzuka. It is a beautiful track, beautiful to photograph. The only thing that's a bit of a downside is the accommodation there. We can never get anything spectacular. It's always just Japanese basic hotels. And really, to be fair, we're only in the room perhaps awake for an hour a day because it's not a great room. But most of the time we're at the track or eating and drinking around the city of, near the Shiroko train station. Hello, Rob from Melbourne, and hi from, is it Abel in Vegas? I love Vegas, and I've just organised a few things for my Vegas trip this year. And he would be very happy to know, people, if you're considering to go, that there are some cheaper options in terms of pricing. Terry Robertson's up. Terry Robertson from the US&A. Hello, Terry, one of my good supporters of this channel. Nice to see you're awake. What are we now? It's 9:54 a.m., so that's 10 a.m. If you're on the East Coast, that'd be 10 p.m. If you're in Atlanta, where you like Pedro is. Are you the same time zone as New York? I think you are. And of course, 3 hours earlier for Los Angeles, where Chadwick is housed up. And I've got some hours to spare in Los Angeles this year because I'm coming to Miami, but the flights were such that when Qantas lands in there are no flights that get me there. The airport must close at midnight or something, or 11 o'clock, because in order for me to catch a flight, it would have landed at just past whatever the cutoff time is. So I have to spend ages hanging around Los Angeles, maybe 9 hours, and then catching a flight that's an overnighter. It leaves at maybe 10 p.m., which is 1 a.m., and gets in at 5 something a.m. But luckily I booked the hotel for the day prior, so I can just go straight to the hotel. CJ, I come up fleetingly in 2 instances. I'm hardly a star, but I thank you for your enthusiasm. And at this stage, how many we got on board? 163. Look at these hats, right? These are the samples. I've got 2 colours, and I'm going to get probably 100 made, and they'll be offered very shortly on my YouTube channel. Not YouTube, on Instagram. But Australians will pick up the mistake on the design, which I'm able to fix. But anyone else, apart from the Aussies, can you pick up the error in the design, the graphic design of this hat? Somebody likes the blue one, thank you. But can you pick up the error? Whatever. Tim from Noosa, you should be able to pick up this error. It's obvious. But I must admit, I didn't pick it up, and I did a little mention in a video, and someone's gone, I hope you correct that before you get them made. Yes, says A.H. Smythe. There's no Tasmania. Now, for those of you who aren't Australian, we have a small island that sits right down there, and it's not on this hat. But it will be on the original. So these, I've got 5 samples. These will be a bit like notes that come out of the treasury or the printing factory that are slightly wrong. So this is the blue, and this is the grey, and they feature Stay Passionate, which if you're a YouTuber you'll know, map of Australia, 2 sizes, a kangaroo, my signature, and a camera, and they're really top quality. It took me ages to find someone, and I had to get them done in Vietnam, but they are really lovely hats. And I've washed these 2 just to make sure they wash up right, and they're a little bit stiff now. And the Valtteri Bottas hat I had, which you may have seen me wear for most of the last year and a half, is such a beautiful hat, and it's been well washed and well worn, and it came into its own about 6 months ago, and it's so beautiful to wear. You forget you got it on. However, I left it, or I dropped it, up in a corporate suite. I think it was in Saudi. Yeah, it was in Saudi. And one of my friends sent me a note, but not till the next day, with this, well, not this hat, but the Valtteri hat, just sitting on a stairwell pole, saying, "Is this yours?" And I said, "Yeah, where is it?" And so I went back the next day, and bugger, gone. Yes, I've washed them. These are the 2 that I've washed. I've got 3 more over there that are unwashed, but they come up really nice. And what I really want to do is actually put them in a washing machine with lots of rocks and rock wash them, but I don't think I will have that chance. Drive LA to LVNV, fun, quick drive. Where am I coming from? From that. Before Las Vegas, I'm in Brazil, and I'm getting there. Oh, I come back to Australia after that because there's 2 weekends off. And then I come from here, Perth, or Lancelin to Perth, by car, Perth to Sydney, 5 and a bit hours maybe. And then we take a heck of a long flight to LA, and then a short one to Vegas. When am I flying to Japan? Shortly. My son is going before me, and he spends probably 20 hours in Nagoya. And he'll be doing a little bit of B-roll footage for me for my video. I'm doing a video about heading to Suzuka, and it is a quirky place if you've never been there. The track itself is just a glorious design. The people, some of the best. And I'll be doing a meet and greet on the Friday, as I did last year, and I do hope that if you're in town, you'll be popping along to that, and almost certainly it'll be after FP1, about 15 minutes. And it'll be over behind the main grandstand because there's a tunnel that comes from our paddock to the main grandstand. Now, Chloe went earlier this year, which was great news. I'll make a note of that. Videos coming up this week. I have so much on. I'm looking at your comments and your take on Liberty Media buying MotoGP. Fantastic deal. It just dovetails perfectly into their business. I'd like to photograph one of those races if there was ever one on where I had a spare weekend. In-N-Out Burger, yes, I'll probably head there, Mark, and if I have no better offer, I will probably just go and photograph planes coming and going and doing a video about that because it is... is it the premier spot? No, it's a good spot, but the other spot on the hill where those guys do those live broadcasts is another spot. Hey, brother, I just saw a pic from Red Bull and it had Liam and no Dan. Is this true? I got no idea. You're probably across it more than I am. Hello, Callie. One of my regulars that pops up here. Now, what am I going to tell you? China coming up as well. I'm excited for that race. And I don't typically love China. It's not my favourite place, and the race typically has very little atmosphere. Well, when I say it normally does, we haven't been there for 5 years. The last time we were there, 2019. So I've done 3 races. The paddock it's a shocker. It's so big and so soulless. Maybe they'll do something different this year, and in the past they've had trouble getting anyone to the race, but I'm understanding that they sold out in 45 minutes, and I just hope that that's legit and they fill all the grandstands, because there's some grandstands where they just put signage over the top and don't put people in there. And a thank you to Jeanette. Supercars Taupo, end of April. No, won't be happening. There'll be no opportunity for that. End of April, where am I? I'm over in end of April I'm on my way to Miami. Thank you for the fist bump on Thursday in the Aussie GP while running to the Melbourne Walk. My pleasure. Any plans for a NASCAR race? No, I think I'm going to spend my week off, which is after Miami. And the reason I look over here is because I have on my computer all the races up the top there. See that? And all the teams and the drivers stuck on there. So I've always got that able to refer to. I think I'm going to stay at just the time in Miami and play golf. So if anyone is from Miami and wants to have a game of golf, interested to hear what's on offer, because I played last year with a fella, Jason. I actually went out there and played at the course where Caddyshack was filmed, and it was a top day out, really enjoyable. And I should play more golf because I'm there for a long time. Now, videos coming up this week. I've got a list here, and I think you'll be interested. Somewhere. Tonight, I'll introduce you to every one of the F1 trainers. Tomorrow night, I'm doing a video about the financial impact the Las Vegas GP had. All the stats, all the figures, feedback, etc. Fascinating. On Wednesday, a video about the Brad Pitt F1 movie. It's been a long time coming. I've had to go and get a lot of more information that I wanted because of that actors' strike. It's up to date. It's fantastic. You will love it. Thursday, I'll be doing a day 1 video about what's happened on the track. Day 2, if there's enough information, a day 2 video. Otherwise, you'll see my travel video from Perth to Suzuka. Saturday and Sunday, there'll be videos about what's happened during the day. Next week, a post-race video, then a travel video, me heading... there'll be a travel video there somewhere. Wednesday will be drivers drove, what they drove for the Japanese Grand Prix, and it's always interesting there, some really out of the ordinary cars. Thursday, I've got a video up my sleeve that I might run, which is everything about every team, all the very important people in every team. So I talk about drivers, team principals, engineers, designers, all that sort of stuff. A nice little video that will kill 11 minutes of your day. And then on Friday, celebrities that follow Formula One. That is a ripper. Now, I saw an article recently that featured a whole lot of my pictures from NBC, and I thought, well, that'd be something you guys would like to hear about, along with some stories about those celebrities. Coming up after the Monaco Grand Prix, and you might have seen my story post last night, which has had over 160,000 views. I've got a private jet from Monaco to Barcelona on the night, and interestingly, I had a look and thought, I'll just get a direct flight business class. No direct flights in the night. Okay, well, what about if I rent a car? Yeah, you can rent a car. It's going to cost you $2,000 and take at least 7 or 8 hours. And I want to be back there that night. So, what about if we catch the train? No, the train's 12 hours. What else? Nothing else. So I thought, right, I'll do a deal with IncyJets, which is a sponsor of Valtteri Bottas. And they've helped me out a little bit here, but there are 3 seats available on that flight. And if you're interested, you can email kim@kimelman.com. It's be about 1,500 to 2,000 euros per person. It's only an 8-seat jet. And there are 3 seats still spare. And if you want to go that route on a private jet and see what it's like, I've never flown one. I've flown small planes, little prop jobs, and rented those in Africa exclusively, but not quite the same as a jet in Europe. So yeah, could be a bit of fun. It's a Citation XLS, did I say? XLT or something? SL something. There it is, XLS. Seats 8. Beautiful little plane. My wife will be able to stand up in it. I won't. But I'm pretty sure we'll sit for most of the flight. So keep an eye. If you're interested, you go and have a look at my story post on Instagram now. Hopefully the audio and video is good for you wherever you are. Now let's look at some of your comments. Have you ever done the Monaco helicopter? No, I haven't. And it's primarily because I've got a suitcase, I've got a camera bag and a long lens. And typically they say, no, you can't put that on there. And in fact, I'm not even sure how the most difficult part of this trip might be getting from Monaco to Nice airport after the race, because it is a real drama. How's the F1 movie coming along? Oh, they're still filming. And you'll love my video next week, Cosmo, because I'll give you all the details of where they're showing up this year, what's happening, which actors were impacted by the strike. It's a fascinating video. It's just taken me a long time to actually get it 100% right. What would the minimum camera kit to cover a GP? A 70 to 200 and a camera. That's it. That's minimum. You could certainly cover one. Lancelin Tavern's just up here, 4 doors up here. No, I don't often eat out at all here because our food is so good that I love cooking. Well, my wife loves cooking and I love eating it. But I do cook the pizzas in my new pizza oven, and I love cooking steaks. Oh, the drivers loved the gifts. Everyone. The only 2 I didn't get to personally present was because I just couldn't find them, Lance Stroll and Max Verstappen. But everybody else was absolutely delighted and thrilled. Got a hug from Logan Sargent. That was lovely. Lewis was great. Charles was genuinely surprised. Yuki was funny because he'd actually gone and bought an Instax camera. I haven't got one here, but 2 weeks prior. So now he has 2. Who else on my list here? George is always lovely. Perez was funny. Got a big smile and a thumbs up for him. Got him as he was heading back to his car. And the trick thing is, you got to get them at a quiet moment. So not all of them were done. Not all of them were done in the paddock. So you had to pick your moment when there's no one around because you don't want media getting involved because it's nothing to do with them. Science was lovely. I got him on the very first day, and he looked really sore to me and wasn't moving well. And I thought, he's not going to drive. Surely he's not going to drive. And of course, he did drive, and he won the race. But yeah, it was a lovely thing to do. And a lot of people say, "Well, why are you giving them to millionaires?" Why not? I work with these people all the time. They're good people. What's the cutoff? Or if you've got more than $1 million, you can't get a gift. I know, they do a lot for me, and I thought, no, nice to welcome to my country. Still, you don't waste any time on the naysayers. Let them just keyboard warrior from home. If you want to get your comment to the top, definitely use Super Chat because I'm doing a lot of gabbering away here and I'm not seeing every comment. Do you know how much people get jobs as team? Do you know how much people get jobs as a teams photographer? I'm not sure what that means. Who's taking Lewis's seat? No, you know as much as I do. I'm pretty sure that whoever's getting the seat doesn't know it yet. I don't think there's any rush for that. Terry Robertson, one of my biggest supporters on this channel. Is this your first live stream of the year? It might. Did I do one in January? Don't know. The only reason I'm doing one now is I was about to go up and do a video in my music room and I got too lazy and I thought, oh, I've got the place to myself. My wife's at her normal little meet and greet with her friends from St John Ambulance and the dogs are quiet. And here I am, chatting to you and reading your comments. 332 of you. What was the race? Kim, what the race is the best to visit Australia? That is a very hard question. What the race is the best to visit Australian or Canada? I have another crack at that because I'm not sure what you're trying to get across. Oh, is it Australia or Canada better? Well, Australia for me because it's a lot shorter. I'll answer that question. Yes, my son is coming to Japan, but he's not going to China. And for my China trip, I've got an extra day, and I don't know why I booked it like that, but I have a full Wednesday before the race in China, and I've managed to find a local Chinese. Oh, there was a super chat there. Thank you, Clinton Brown. Thank you very much for your super chat. And this young woman is going to take me around Shanghai and show me some interesting stuff. And what I wanted to see, and I thought this was in Shanghai, but I've learnt that it's not, are these places where all these YouTubers, live streamers, go under a bridge and they all set up their ring lights and they broadcast live from there. And there might be 30 to 50 people. It looked fascinating, but my guide, Summer, in China, in Shanghai, said, no, not a thing in Shanghai, that's outlawed here. But it will be very interesting, and I can tell you the paperwork to get into that country is crazy. They just want to know everything. But still, it probably took well over 3 hours to do everything, including, more than that, because I had to travel from here to Perth to get my visa the second time. And I haven't even got it yet, but I should get it. Thankfully, it's only $95 and a visa. Oh, there's no chance for a Great Wall visit. And the visa cost of $95 is pretty reasonable. Those coming to Australia had to pay $400. Of course, I don't pay anything because I'm an Australian, but that's a bit rich, I think, on our country. Stinging them $400. How hard is it to break into the F1 community of press photographers? Well, it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible. And if you're looking for a job, you won't get you might get a job in photography. Really, there are only, Getty has a few guys that are staff. Who else? LAT has a couple of guys who are on staff. AFP and some of the agencies would send someone, but they wouldn't send the same people every race. There are very few jobs. Most of the people who work in Formula One photographing anyway are freelancers. Have you noticed lights getting any cheaper? Flights. I did see that there was a promo from 3 Australian capitals, not Perth, with Qatar, where they dropped their pricing back down to something reasonable, because flying out of here to... My wife's returned home, and here's the little dog. Flying out of here to Europe is every bit of 10,000 Aussie, but I think these fares are more in the order of 6 to 7.5 out of the eastern states. Maybe they will come down here in WA. I've got most of my stuff booked anyway. Will Daniel Ricciardo be removed from his driving seat? Well, I know exactly the same as you do if you read a lot, because I read a lot. My thoughts are that if he has 2 bad races in a row, he'll be gone by Miami. And that's only because of what I've read. I have no inside information. Typically, people don't run around saying, oh, Daniel's going in 2 races if he's not any good. The journos tend to get to the bottom of that because they've got more contacts, perhaps higher up, who are willing to spill the beans. And here's the cohabitant of my house. That's Tonya from the St John Ambulance Service. What's my favourite track to shoot? Hunter. Somebody will tell you in a minute in the comments. You watch, because almost all of the regulars know which is my favourite track to shoot. My favourite race, well, I've got to say Melbourne has jumped up in my estimations, because thank you very much, Matt. You were spot on. It was just phenomenal to be in Melbourne with the crowd, because it was 452,000 people over the 4 days. And they actually have 4 days of on-track action. Not like most tracks, which have 3, and they have lots of on-track action. If you go to Vegas, they only have F1. That's it. Hello, Terry Robertson has stumped up 100 of the US dollars, which is so much more valuable than the Australian dollars. I don't know why yours are so valuable, Terry. But indeed, thank you. That will go some way towards production of my next video. And as I mentioned before, if you've just joined me, I have a video going up. Yeah, I've got 7 videos. Let me go back to my list here. There will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 videos in the next 12 days. Thank you very much, John Tyson from Canberra, which is the capital city of Australia. Not Sydney, not Melbourne. Yeah, so 11 videos in 12 days. That's a heck of a lot of work. Admittedly, some of those videos I've had in the can for some time. I'm just going to post them, like tonight's about the trainers. So you should be paying attention. And if you're not subscribed, why not? How many subscribers have I got? 320,000? With your help, that could be 400. Now, Stephen Davis from the US&A is from Dallas, of course. I'm not going to be back in Dallas. I go straight to Austin this year. All very well. Well, the reason I can do more videos, Stephen and Terry, is because I have an editor who is full-time now. In fact, he's more than full-time. He's full-time and a bit. And whereas, if I go back a year and a third ago, I would typically research a video, might take an hour, sometimes 2 or 3. I would record it, maybe half an hour, and then I'd edit it 5 to 9 hours. Now, I just do the first 2 bits and I send it all off. All that cold vision goes to Jack, and he just makes sense of it. And he's done a year and a quarter of it now, so he's got this great backlog in his mind of when I say, and of course I shot a picture of me doing this at this race. He goes, yeah, I know that one. And he can instantly go and find it. So he's more valuable to me, and he's a pretty good photographer too. He did Melbourne with me, and I had so much work on in Melbourne for clients and different projects that it was inevitable that I needed someone else, and so it was good to get him along there, and he now better understands how the whole thing works. Hello from Trinidad. I didn't think anyone from Trinidad was on board. Now, do I have any Colombians? Because I know that I often get hugs from Colombia. That's a thing. I don't know, is that something that's said often, but it makes me smile. Do you like double headers or races with a... I like both. I like being able to come back here and having a weekend off. But with China and Japan, it would have been far better if we could have done them back to back, because it's a simple, I don't know, a couple of hour flight, maybe a few hours, instead of 10 back here and then another 10 to go away. How can I get into the F1 world to work? I have no idea. No. Do jobs ever come up? I'm sure they do in the teams. don't know how they advertise them or where they find people. How receptive. Oh, the drivers love the gifts. And the other thing is you can win one of those gift bags too. I'm drawing it tomorrow, April 2, 5 p.m. Perth time. And if you want all this stuff, and it's $1,900 worth, you need to straight away, well, not straight away, after this live stream, make sure you subscribe to me on YouTube, which I imagine you are. Then go to Instagram and make sure you're following me. Leave a comment and you've got to look for the post. It's the pinned post and it says giveaway. Go and read that and enter, because tomorrow I'll pick someone. Over 7,500 entries so far. Yeah, odds are long, but somebody has to win it, and could well be you. $1,900 worth of stuff, and there I'm talking. What am I talking? I'll show you this picture. No, will I? No, I won't, because it takes too long to find. But there's Bose headphones, which are stunning. There's my dog, one of them. An Instax camera. Instant pictures, and that was a great thing. I don't know whether you saw what I did there in one of my videos. I mentioned that I took my Instax camera out there, and I have so many sheets to shoot that I was just... I should just go and find you. This picture explains it better than what I can. Kim. Right, here we go. Too bad I haven't got this linked up so that I could have it full screen for you. Right. Where am I here? Hang on. This kid here said, "Can I take a photo of you, Kim?" And he was a really confident young lad, really quite interesting. So he took some photos, and I'd give everyone their picture, and they would, if they wanted to sign, I was happy to do that. But I would have spent half an hour on my meet and greet. I spent at least half an hour with those people, and then leaving the track on 3 of the 4 nights. It was just a great fun thing to do. And I'll do that again in Japan. So if you're coming to my meet and greet on the Friday in Japan, 15 minutes after FP1, I'll bring one of those Instax out and a whole lot of prints. And we'll have some fun. Here we go. Here's hugs from Nick. He says he's from Colombia. Nice. How does your F1 photography and YouTube come on now? Yeah, YouTube is huge and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. That's where my growth, and that's what I'm putting all my energies into this year. Growing that channel. Oh, there's a dog just about to take off. We have, hang on. Oh, shit. Come here. So I've got a black poodle. Thank you to Toy Breaker. How do you combat that jet lag? I never get it. Well, actually I do. I mean, I must admit, this is my son's dog, going to the US. Here, look up here, Romeo. Look up here. Look up there. Look at those people. That's it. Going to the US, I'll often be a bit jet lagged, but nothing that a good night's sleep and a couple of sleeping tablets won't fix. Anyway, this is one little fella. And the other one, where's my other one? He's gone. But not normally an issue. Not at all. Sleeping tablets are great. Have I tried the new Sony? No, I've never used a Sony. Never tried anything. Oh no, I did try a Hasselblad, which was pretty interesting and very hard to use. But no, I'm happy with Canon. Absolutely happy. BIGD says hello from Surf City, Huntington Beach, California. Now I have a friend that lives in Huntington Beach, and I'll tell you a story just briefly. When I was, I don't know, 19, first year of work, I was working at a bank, and we had a young lady from America who was staying with us, and she'd had a child when she was quite young, and she was out in Australia, sort of like a witness protection thing. Anyway, my mother got friendly with her, and ended up that she came and stayed with us for a period, and she was quite glamorous, and she was about 4 years older than me, and I'm a teenage boy, and got this glamorous looking woman staying with us with a young daughter, and I got on really well with her, and she was really quite lovely. But then I lost track of her for 45 years. And then her daughter, who was also living with us at the time for a couple of months, contacted me out of the blue via social media and said, "Do you remember me? I stayed with you with my mother." And I've got to sneeze, hang on. I said, "Do I remember you?" "Yes, fondly. I've been trying to track down your mother for 45 odd years. Anyway, I spoke to her yesterday. She's from Huntington Beach. So a little bit of an aside there, but quite a remarkable series of occurrences. I didn't know Hawks or Cats were playing today. How did you learn photography? By taking a lot of photos, and that's all you do. You don't have to go to college. You can watch millions of YouTube videos and just take photos. Go and start out, if you like motorsports photography, go and start out at your local speedway or whatever, and just get better. There's no great science in it. It's just taking a lot of photos. And I will take, over a weekend, 15,000 photos. So you've got to think there'll be some good ones. Says John Tyson, would you be interested in the Canon R1? I'm getting it. Not interested, I'm getting it. I'm just going to get the darn thing. And I believe it's due out later this year. And I think there's also a new R5, which I will also get because mine's getting a bit bruised and I think it has a problem with audio. I don't know, it's either the microphone or the camera. But yes, I'll be getting one. I love it. Carmel Jordan, thank you very much for your super chat. Any new driver signed photos, maybe from Danny, Rick or Lando? Nothing I can confirm yet. I talk to them all the time. You never know when one will say yes. There'll be a Fernando one coming up at some point, if you like Fernando. Have you ever had a memory card fail during an event? And not lost all my photos, no. But I one race late last year, normally I'll shoot in a burst, so I'll keep my finger down for maybe 2 seconds, and particularly this is at the start, so I've got my finger down for 2 seconds and I give it a little bit of break and then another bit. But it must have been Vegas because I've kept my finger on for probably 6-7 seconds, and then the last, I don't know, 20% of the pictures just never came up. And it was unfortunate because that was when the two cars were facing each other on turn one. That's the only time I've probably been disappointed with losing stuff, but I've never lost everything. And besides, I shoot to 2 cards, so normally if you don't get them on one, you got them on the other, but that didn't happen in that instance. What are my thoughts on the Canon R50? I don't even know what that is. No, don't know. Never used one. What do you do to organise all the photos you shoot? Well, I use this program called Photo Mechanic, which brings in the pictures, and then I use Lightroom to store them. So if I've got my computer here, why is it doing that? Somebody challenge me here to find a photo. Give me a couple of keywords or say, find a photo from whatever, and I'll see how long it takes. Lando Spa 2021. Yeah, but be more detailed. What day? Oh, okay, I'll just find. Here's all my pics of Lando Spa. Lando Spa 2021. Oh, far out. It's my shit typing. All right, here we go. So these are all 2021 Lando pics. Is that Lando? Yeah, that's Lando. But, and I thought about, okay, LH44, but actually a bit more detailed than that. What's that one? I don't know whether I shot Charles in the wall at Ricard. Charles 2022. French. No. What have I got? This is what I've got from that. I don't think I shot him going into the wall. I would have remembered that. Norris smashing the Hungarian trophy. Okay, what year was that? Norris, Hungary. Well, that would have been, was it last year, 2023 or 2022? Here it is. Was it? Was it 2022? Or was it 20? Oh, okay. Well, here's 2023. So if I get out of Norris and don't have any of that, I think I should be able to find that. Yeah, there it is. So there's the trophy toppling over there. Yeah. So that's how it should work. But in order to get to that stage, you have to do a lot of work. And then typically that work is done at the track when I'm edited. I'll take, say, out of a session 1,500 photos. I'll bring them back into here. I'll pick maybe 110. I then go through and edit them. And when I talk edit, they get no more than 5 seconds typically. If I do something like a print, yeah, I might spend 5 minutes on it at another point. But no, when there's a lot of photographers who have the luxury of only having to provide a team with, say, 30 photos during a race weekend. So they can spend 25, 30 minutes on a photo and just work on every single aspect. They can take out poles, they can take out wires, they can make skies go from grey to yellow, and they can do all that stuff. And all power to them, but I don't have the ability nor the time to do that. So I pretty much just do basic edits and hopefully get it right in the camera. And then I have to go and physically, with each of those 110 photos, hit a button, Lando Norris, whatever, and it's a thing called a Stream Deck, which saves me minutes every day. Can you call a driver night? No, I'm not going to call a driver right now. What time would it be? No, I'm not calling a driver now. I don't think there's anything in that for me or them, quite frankly. Can you find Perez, 2nd of October 22? Let's have a look. Perez, October 2, 2022. Yeah, I got lots of photos. Was that a good day for him? No, that's not right. Perez, October 2, 2022. Right, these... Did he win? Oh, that's in Mexico. There you go. Enough of that, but if I'm well organised, that is invaluable. And certainly that's what my editor needs when I talk about, reminds me of when Lando Norris did something at the so-and-so GP, he can put in those keywords. Thank you again to those. Eric B. from San Clemente, California. I will keep up the amazing content, Eric, and I thank you for chipping in some dollars to the fund, as I do thank Terry Robertson, who's one of my biggest supporters. And he is he sets the high bar. I challenge anyone to go higher than Terry Robertson. Is that cold? Is it that cold? No. She was sitting out in the wind. What's the view like? That's the view. That's all right. No clouds today. Oh, a little bit of cloud. Can you find Vettel Singapore 2019? Vettel Singapore 2019. Yes. Here he is at turn 1. And then going fast in a nice red car. Yeah, lots and lots. Do you have a plan where you will shoot around the track? No. Well, actually, when I say that, I'll show you this. This was the first time that I actually did this. Albert Park. This one here, I decided that we'd put little crosses because there were 3 of us shooting on the weekend. So, far out. So we each have a different colour, and at some point during the weekend we all had to shoot from those spots. But I'm not normally that organised. Perhaps I should be, but you can't do everything. Am I still in Australia? Very much so. Lewis, no, I'm not doing any more of those. Every time I see Kim in the wild on my TV, I take a picture. Nice. For those of you just arrived, let me tell you about these bucket hats because they'll certainly be available for sale to you. They're lovely and really high quality. I spent a long time, I looked at a lot of shit, cheap shit that I ended up saying no to because I have to wear these and I want you to be impressed with them too. Not available just yet, just fine-tuning the artwork. And if you've just joined me and no one's... Oh, thank you to Farjar13. How's learning curve from nature to motorsport for you? It both involve a whole lot of waiting around, yes. But certainly, look, they're both expensive sports, exciting in certain moments, but a lot of dull, nothing hanging around. Now getting back to these hats, 2 colours, blue and the grey. And for those, look, there's an error here. Australians will know the error, and I'm fixing it for the actual commercial print run of them. But somebody pointed it out on my video that there is no Tasmania there. And there's no Tasmania there. So my apologies to the Tasmanians. I understand their pain. No, it's not a job, Darren and Michelle. Well, Michelle and Darren. It's just getting more and more interesting. More and more stuff is opening up. Any advice for female drivers hoping to get into F1? Well, you've got to be the best in the world. So there's only going to be one person, because I don't think there'll be... I think the best female in the world has a chance of getting into F1. And the other thing, if you watch that video I did about females in Formula One, it's not necessarily about being the best driver in the world. You've got to have a package. You've got to be marketable. You have to be good with the media. You have to have a whole lot more than just being the best driver in the world, because the best driver in the world doesn't necessarily, even male, in particular males, doesn't end up winning the championship. There's a whole lot more that goes along with it, isn't there? Since the time Red Bull asked you to delete some... No one ever asked me to do that. No, that's not me. Sometimes they stand in the way if they don't want you to take stuff. But any similar requests? Oh, some people... I had one recently where a woman in Women of the Paddock, a friend of mine, said she got a lot of hate. Could I take the picture down? So yeah, I took that one down. No, teams don't really worry. Look, if you can see it with your eyes, it's fair game. All the teams understand that. Is your favourite photo you've taken also your best-selling? No. My favourite photo is Daniel Ricciardo coming onto the grid in Hockenheim, and I'll tell you this story. Daniel, Hockenheim, grid. Is that enough? Yes. Oh, come on. No, it's not Hockenheim, it's German. There we go. And that was an epic day too, that Hockenheim race in Germany. Right, well, clearly I've let myself down here because it's not visible on there. Daniel. Why can't I find that? Daniel. Forgive me here, people. Daniel Ricciardo, German. I can't believe I can't find a photo. I won't go into any more detail, but great photo. Unbelievable set of circumstances. Probably never get the chance again. I hope so, but not banking on it. No IndyCar races this year, Stefan. Cute dog, yeah. The black one's a bit calmer. That Tyler's dog can be very vicious. Feigns viciousness, never follows through, but just attacks people from a distance. Video accreditation, what do you enjoy more, shooting photos or videos? Oh, photos by far. Videos are a grind. But certain paddocks are better than others. For instance, this race in Suzuka, the media centre is right smack bang in the middle of the paddock. It's amazing. So I can just get out of my desk and walk no more than 20 metres, and I can be in the middle of the paddock and video with some great background. Somebody said the other day, get out of the bloody way, we're trying to see what's going on. You always got your bloody head in the middle of the shot. So I had to reiterate, no, you don't understand, mate. The video accreditation I have has so many stipulations, but the two most important ones are no more than 10 minutes a day, and you have to be the subject of the video. So I can't run along and put a video camera or my phone in a driver's face and follow them, because I'm not the subject of the video. I do that once, and I'll probably lose it. So, if you're wondering why, if I'm standing there talking to the camera and I say, oh, behind me there's a celebration going on, you will not see the celebration because that's TV camera stuff. That'll be blurred and out of focus because focus will be on me. So, there you go. Other comments from you good people? Do you think Sydney will steal the F1? No. I think Melbourne does a great enough job. But still, it may come down to money. Going to Imola this year, any tips? Yes, go to kimelman.com and go to my race-by-race guide and read what I have written for you. Tips galore. Do you need to take breaks in the heat? No. But I have got from a fella in Finland. I'm making a mockery of my bloody system. Charles Sunday. Where is it? What am I doing? This is terrible. Here it is here. I didn't tag it correctly. I'll do that now. See this thing around his neck? It's a UU. And it was interesting because I first became aware of them late last year. Effectively what it contains, well, there's a black cover, and inside you shove this rubber sleeve that has been filled up with water and frozen, and you stick that around your neck. So I'm going to actually use that on a hot race, and we haven't got anyone hot race coming up shortly. So I've not had a chance to use it this year, but just sticking it around your neck means that you get a couple of hours of cooling. So I'm quite excited about that. How long did this stream take to set up? Well, I had several goes at it because I couldn't work out how to get it to have this orientation. It was always coming up with 9x16. But once I got it going, it was only a couple of minutes. But I do struggle. What do you think the future will be for Yuki? Well, I don't know. I don't think they'll... Well, he's a 50-50 chance to stay at AlphaTauri VCarb or 50 to go to Red Bull. I don't know. Bonjour from Canada. See you in Montreal. Yeah, I've got an apartment this year. My son's coming over. And we fly in on the Wednesday evening and we fly out on the Monday morning. We are a very quick in and out. Yes, I'm going to Suzuka and I'm looking forward to it. My son is actually leaving tonight, taking the bullet train, and I'm going to not take the bullet train. But I do have to take that little local train from Nagoya to Suzuka, which is a quirky little thing. 43 minutes is the direct service. And then I've got a hotel, a media hotel, which is not too far from the station. Then we get a media shuttle, and that's the beauty of this race for us. And the hotel is very ordinary, but comfortable. It's just when you're asleep, you don't know how small that room is, and it is the smallest room I ever stay in throughout the year, just bigger than a tent. And you come downstairs and you walk maybe 300 metres to the train station, you get on the bus, and the bus drops you off at the media centre. It's the greatest thing. And then at night, you just make sure you're in the queue for the bus that goes every 45 minutes, and it drops you back to the hotel. Japan travel review video coming soon. Yes, and I've got Jace shooting some B-roll vision in Nagoya tomorrow. I think he gets there, and he'll be doing that for me. Thank you, Dibs Oz. Tried shooting the super bikes a couple of weeks ago. Not easy. Yeah, but the thing is that the more you do it, the better you get, and you never ever master it. Not even the very best guys. And I shoot with I shoot with the best guys in the world, the likes of Clive Mason and Vladimir Rees, Mark Thompson, Peter Fox, Andy Hone. These are photographers who are there week in and week out, and I look. People say, "Oh, I love your images," and I think, well, that's great, thank you for that. But unfortunately, when I compare myself to the 7 best photographers in the world, and well, not always, but most of the time come up short because they've got 20 plus years each doing it, and they have a better eye than me. So I can take a great photo if I know what the photo is, and oftentimes I do know what that photo is, and I can go and take it. But oftentimes I'll come back to the media centre and I'll have a chat with the guy and say, "Oh, look at this one." I go, didn't even think of that. I had no idea that was a shot. But I am going to do a couple of things in Mexico this year. There's a beautiful shot where you stand in the stadium at ground level behind people, but you need to be a little bit higher. And you don't need to be 50 centimetres higher, but they won't let you stand on the tables. They get a bit cranky. So I'm actually going to get a small step ladder for this one shot only. And that way I can spend 15 minutes on it rather than in the past where I sneakily jump in and I wait for no one around. I might stand up there and I might get 30 seconds before someone says you've got to get down, and you get down. Any reserve drivers? Yes. Who's the young fella, the Japanese driver's driving Daniel's car? Not a good sign, because you'd think Daniel would want as much time in the car as possible, but you're going to miss out on one session. My daughter Ella loved your signed Oscar Piastri print. Yeah. How did you get started as an F1 photographer? I applied through the media accreditation page, told the people there what I thought I could do for the sport, and they said yes. Would you ever purchase a refurbished camera? I might if I thought it was going to be reliable, but look, I travel with two R3s and an R5, so if there's ever an issue with the R3, I've got an R5 to fall back on, but it's not anything like an R3. And the other thing is, at most races, and I'm talking at least 21 of the 24, Canon will be there. And being a CPS member and a Canon shooter and someone who's got quite an audience, they know me and they will often look after me first. So if I say, hey, this camera's broken, and I'll give you an example. My 600mm lens, for the second time in 4 years, I went out, FP1, turn 6, taking these shots on my 600 first session, and they're all soft. Not savagely soft, but soft. So I bring it back and I say, this happened 3 years ago. And he looks at it and goes, yeah, we need to fix this. So they lend me a 600 for the race, and they lend it to me for Japan. And when I get back from Japan, I'll send it back to them and they'll send my repaired 600. And that's the beauty of being well known with a brand like Canon. And also last year, where was it? Las Vegas. I haven't got a camera here, but the little bit that goes on where you push your eye up against comes off all the time. With any sort of pressure, it's off. And the guys came over to me and said, look, you'll like these. They're these black, thick rubber bands. And it solved that problem instantly. And then I've mentioned that in my video about my equipment that I take, and that was 100,000 views. And all these people say, oh, where can we get them from? And I thought, I don't know where to get them from. This guy just gave me some. Do I prefer Liam, Oscar, or Danny? Well, Liam, I like talking to. I spend a bit of time talking to him. Oscar's a sensational driver, and Daniel is a master marketer. So imagine if you had all of those three characteristics in one person. Have I ever been to Bathurst? Have I been to Bathurst? Well, I put my Evo 9 into the Bathurst 12 hour, and we came 6th. I didn't drive it, but yeah, I've been to Bathurst. Yes. How do we pronounce this young fella's name? Ayumu Iwasa is driving Danny's car. He seems to have lost a little heat with the new F2 cars, but he has talent. Right, thank you very much for that. I don't do much with F2. I don't have any. Someone says, so why don't you shoot F2 and 3? There's no time to shoot F1, let alone F2 and 3. There's so much to do. I didn't do any other categories in Melbourne. Did I? Can you see Adrian Newing going to Aston Martin? Once again, I haven't read. You've probably read more than I have about it, so you tell me. Is COTA the best North American race? I like Vegas. I just like it. I think it's great for my content. I can tell you, views on my Vegas videos are up 3 to 10 times what I normally get on any other video. So naturally, I love Las Vegas. I also love the city. I love the fact that it's compact. I have a couple of great sponsors there who look after me. COTA's okay. Miami, I'm not a fan. Not a fan at all. I haven't been to the Salt Lick Barbecue in Austin. Have you ever took pictures of the hydroplanes? Negative, Stephen. None of those. If you want your comment read, make sure you get onto the super chat. See if you can trump Terry Robertson, who is one of my most ardent followers on this platform. Did the drivers go straight to Japan? No, a lot of them went to Bali, or a number of them went to Bali. I think one went to Vietnam as well. I don't know anyone that went back to Europe and came back, but that's only from me seeing stuff on their Instagram page. And a reminder too that tomorrow at 5 p.m. Perth time, which is in 30 hours or so from now, I'm going to find someone to take $1,900 worth of prizes. If you want that marvellous kit with all of this stuff in it, and what is that called? Giveaway. Is it giveaway? Yeah. I'm going to give away all that tomorrow. A whole lot of stuff, a UU ice pack thing, A beautiful pack from Qatar Airways with some lovely fragrance in it. You're going to get some quad lock stuff for your phone and mounts. Bose headphones, my gosh, they're alone are worth 650 Aussie. You're going to get about $400 worth of quad lock. You're going to get an Instax camera with some film. It's about $300. A Leatherman. You're going to get Lando Norris's engraved Leatherman, which is a marvellous multi-purpose tool. There's another $200 there. What else have I missed? The draft top, very interesting little thing, and a sling from Black Rapid, so you can put your camera around your neck. You know, you might have seen my straps that I use. Well, that comes from a company called Black Rapid. Are they in there? Yes, they're in there. And all in a Bellroy mount. No, what is it? A Bellroy market tote bag. Really great products. $1,900. So make sure you enter that. To enter, you need to go to Instagram when this finishes and find the competition post on my Instagram page. Tomorrow, 5 p.m, somebody gets all of that loot. You think George went back? Yes, I did see a picture of him enjoying a cup of tea or something out in a cafe. Yeah, the crash of the woman driver I showed was beautiful Sophia Flosch. What a great lady she is. Remarkable that she's back with us. When I'm here in October, we need to get a Kim fan group together at the Salt Lick Barbecue. Oh, it's so hard because I don't know what... Depends on how the day goes at the track. Sometimes we're there till midnight and other times we can be away at 7 p.m. I'm at the mercy of stuff that I have to do. Which circuit would you replace in the F1 calendar? China. What would I replace it with? Not Paul Ricard. That was a shocker too. I don't think there's any track that I know that we're not at. Maybe a second. Oh yeah, okay, Perth. Let's have one in Perth on the foreshore. Why? No, Lando got his Leatherman, but then they did another one for me as a... They just said, "Oh, give this away. This is the giveaway one. We'll put Lando's name on it." I don't think any of those boys would have tried to carry them on their flights. They put them all in their hand luggage, in their checked luggage. Istanbul circuit, yeah, it's out in the middle of nowhere. I didn't like the accommodation, and for me, that's a big part of it. Because we work so hard, I want to come back to a nice hotel at the end of the day with a nice social scene and reward myself after a 14-hour day. Why do you dislike China? Oh, I just dislike the whole thing. It's in a soulless area. The paddock's too big. You just don't get the Australian fans. You don't get the Italian fans. Those atmospheres are unbelievable. It's a new market, and it's a sport that maybe Zhou's involvement this year will make it different. I just remember back to 2019 and 18, and the skies are grey, and it's just... Oh. It may sound harsh, but I can't find much to really get excited about. There is a nice shot, cars coming into pit lane. And the first corner is quite remarkable that it continues tightening. What do you think about Carlos to Red Bull? I'm sure he'd do well there, but I'm not sure they want to get rid of Perez. He seems to be doing... Well, in the first two races he did okay. He did as best he could. Perhaps could have done a bit more in the last race, but I don't know. Better the devil you know, hey? Who knows? You're welcome, MC. Which glasses are these? Yeah, they're the right ones. John Tyson with Australian $20 note. How much of your camera gear goes in the checked luggage? Typically, one lens, a 100 to 500, and that's in a camera bag with some padding around it. A flash, and a bit of other stuff like filters, but cameras, main lenses all come with me on board, which is vital because a couple of times I found myself at the track, and it's happened twice in Baku where I've had no checked luggage for 2 or 3 days. And if I put all my stuff in there, I'd be very dark. And in Baku, I don't think we get Canon come to that race, so I would have to be stuck with... Well, if I put both my cameras and lenses now, I'd have to shoot with the iPhone. Not much fun. Thank you, John, for that generous offering. Perez has been offered another year, apparently. Yeah. Should you bring? Oh yeah, I like the German GP. I tell you why I liked it. That last corner when it was wet, that just gave so much. And I had the time of my life that race. There was always something going on. Nico spun off. Max did a 360. Carlos hit the wall earlier. Lewis came off at turn 1. Oh, it's just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal race. And I stayed in Mannheim. Yeah. In a beautiful hotel, Radisson Blue. Just for me, the complete package, so much. What is my opinion of the schedule this year? What would you change? Oh, that's 6 races in 7 weeks is horrible at the end of the year. And then we've got 4 standalone races now. Yeah, you'll get an Alonso sign print this year, definitely. I can tell you that. It's got to be some great story. So him on the podium would be nice. Another shot like that, Sergio Fernando shot across the Sao Paulo start-finish line was stunning. Make sure this dog doesn't attack someone. Hello from Melbourne, Finn. Yeah, I've got to get this dog. He's enthusiastic about attacking people. Well, mainly their ankles. Most of your viewers from the US. YouTube, what are the stats? I'll tell you exactly. Take me a second. America is big. It is the big market. And 50 to 60% of what I sell on my website is to America. And Europe, if you discount Britain and the Netherlands, the rest of Europe is about 8%. God knows what's going on there.
Whether you want monetization, all that.
No, what am I looking for here? YouTube. Gotta go here. Gotta go YouTube. I don't even know whether this is going to come up. Yeah, look, it's in the order of 20 to 30%, I think. Thoughts of Liberty, yeah, I think it's a great idea. It's a clever company. I think they're trying to milk too much of it with the 24 races, too many. It's uncomfortable. It's an early start and a late finish. And only unfair on the drivers because the teams, and Mercedes told me this last week, that their mechanics can only work 22 races. They have to have 2 off. Right now, what was the question? Analytics. Let's have a look. Audience. Slow internet in Lancelin because every man and his dog's up here this weekend. Where are they from? United States, 20%. Australia, 15%. The United Kingdom, 15%. Canada, 6%. India, 4.1%. And then everything else. So there you go. Thank you, America. And it's good timing, isn't it, America? It's about 11 p.m. for those of you on the East Coast and 8 p.m. on the West Coast. If you could make a change to the schedule, what would it be to stop that 6 races in 7 weeks at the end? We're going to be terribly drained by that. How can they offer Perez another year after the absolute mess he made of last year? I don't know. It's their money. I think they can do whatever they want. Beyond that and Vegemite, what home comfort do you take on the road to stay grounded? I take a Marshall speaker so I can have music, but nothing else really Australian, except my son, who is enthusiastic and becoming a much better photographer and is known by a lot of the drivers, and so he gets the same nice smiles that I get, which is important for our pictures. He's just got to be a bit more... perhaps I'm being a bit harsh, but yeah, he needs to be more of a manager. He needs to manage me, and he did that with something at the last race what I was quite impressed with. So that's what I'm looking for. He does my social media, so I want more direction because perhaps I'm too close to it. But for those of you who have just joined us, I'll run through the videos that you're going to see on my YouTube channel this week. Tonight, trainers, every trainer of every driver. Tomorrow night, my Las Vegas video movie. All the information about where this movie project is, and it's absolutely up to date with some great information from Formula One and the production company. You're going to want to see that Tuesday night. Wednesday, I might have made a mistake there. Yeah, Tuesday is the Vegas video. No, Tuesday I'm going to do the video about the economic impact on the Las Vegas race. Wednesday will be the Brad Pitt F1 movie. Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, a video every day from the track. Monday there'll be a post-race video. Tuesday there'll be a travel video of me going to Japan. And coming up shortly, I'll be going on the world's fastest train. Yes, it should be a great video. Then we've got what the drivers drove. Thursday might have a day off. And then Friday, celebrities who follow Formula One. So there's 11 videos in 12 days. Yeah. And it's all free for you. All you have to do is click on them and watch them, comment. And please, if you have not subscribed, why not? There are people all over the place here who have subscribed, but some of you haven't. And I'd like to think, what are we now at? Let's have a look at my stats. Content, no, Kimmel, where is it? 320,000 and something. It should be a lot easier. 320,156. Yes, somebody was amazed and amused when I said that I lose the eye cups on the R3s. They're shocking. It's just the worst design ever. How do you keep up with all the travel? Well, I sit down and I just be comfortable. Yes, as Clinton Brown says, and always says, please subscribe. Thank you to Danielle who subscribed. Only discovered my channel. Well, you have hundreds of videos to watch. How many have I got up there? Does it tell me anywhere here? Oh, there's a lot. My best earning video was Vegas last year after that crash of Carlos. That one had 700,000 views, I think, or 500,000 within 12 hours. That's what I need more of, because that was a mind bender in terms of viewer numbers and subsequent revenue. Here's a super chat. What did you do before F1 photography? Asks Hayden World. Well, it's the same thing I will do after this. I've got several companies. If you have a look at kimellman.com, you'll see the companies that I own. And Messages on Hold is the business that I've been running for, 33 years? 88? Yeah, I know, 35 or something. 88, 98, 08, 18, yeah, 35 odd years. And it has been an absolute gem of a business. I used to run numbers for the mafia, but I was never convicted, only accused. That's as long as I've been alive. Yeah. People say, how can you afford to do this? Because I never stopped working. Because I've got to admit, I laugh, because I would get, during a race week, probably 15 messages, I'd like to get a job doing F1 photography like you. And I think, do you really? Do you know what's involved? Do you know that it's 14 hours a day times 4, walking 60 kilometres over those 4 days? Listen to that dog. What's he doing? It's not a glamorous life. It's bloody hard work. And then there are no jobs. And yeah, I'm not complaining, but I think people think, oh, it must be great. You're going business class everywhere. Well, yeah, I got to, because I've got so little time. And when I'm sitting on those planes, I'm not watching movies. I'm working every single minute. And a lot of people don't want to work that hard. And I understand that. A lot of people these days just think, I just want to do 35 hours a week. That's 2.5 days at the track. Not going to happen. Are the first class flight videos profitable? Yes. What about the other one? There was one the other day that did surprisingly well. It was a travel video. I can't remember. Which one was it? Oh, is Qantas still awful? Yeah, that did really well. And to be fair, the cabin crew were great on the flight I had, and the food was okay. The seat was good, but they're not the same as a Middle Eastern airline. Those Middle Eastern airlines really just have it pretty much over everyone when it comes to the offerings in first and business. And maybe it's because they've got a lot of government money, I don't know, but they just know how to do it, and they appreciate luxury. And those lounges that they have in the Gulf countries are phenomenal. Certainly nothing like what you get in America. Although I must say, the American Lounge at Dallas is pretty good. Yeah. It's April the 1st, says Clinton Brown. I know it's April 1st. I got hospitality for Abu Dhabi this year and went Vegas last year. Can't wait for Abu Dhabi, yeah. It's a good race and it's not too hot. JetBlue Business is good. I've flown them and I've had the throne seat. I think it's an excellent product. And Z Clutch caught up with me at the Melbourne GP. Thank you for that. Aussie F1 tourist on the way to Japan, leaving in an hour. First time to Japan, so super excited. Well, I'm doing a meet and greet on the Friday after FP1 behind the main grandstand. Any corners I really need to see in F1? Yeah, probably was it R130, 130R? That's worth a look. I sat there with my kids going back 10, 15 years ago. Took them from Tokyo for a day. We were staying and we just bought general admission tickets on the Thursday. It was great. How do I negotiate brand deals? Well, most people contact me and say, what can we do? And then my son gets on board with them and we talk and all of them get value out of it. Absolutely. I'm probably pricing it too cheaply. What did you do to get accredited? I applied through the FIA website. Best beach in WA. Probably one of those Esperance beaches. Lucky Bay. Is that the one where the kangaroos are? I love that. Japan's amazing. Was there last year. It is amazing. And we're there at cherry blossom time. 6 months after we were there last year, we're back. We will get rain. Always do. Got to take all our wet weather gear. Hope Jace has got his packed. Qantas Lounge is ordinary. Yeah. When you're retiring. I don't need to retire yet. I'm still enjoying it. Tell you what, the day I get the shits with it, I'll retire. And I figure if I had, I've had bad days. I might have had 2 bad days in a row, but I think I've never had 4. Something always, and at every race, something happens. Something amazing happens at every race. So somebody will find me and say, we want to do this with you, or I'll get some picture that's remarkable. There's always something that happens at these races. So as long as that keeps going, I'm happy. Turquoise Beach, yeah, I've been to that. Lovely. Not much of a beach, so it's might only be 3 or 4 metres at high tide, but no, I love those ones at Esperance. Like it's got to be middle of summer before you want to swim in that water because it's darn cold. Please try Ichi Run. I've been told to try, and maybe you're Japanese. Have a look at my notes for this video coming up. Where are we? Open recent. Perth to Suzuka. Hitsumabushi. Hitsumabushi. That's eel meat. That's a local delicacy in Nagoya. So I'm going to try that for lunch the day that I get there, because Jace will have spent the night before, and we'll catch up. He hopefully has got a whole lot of B-roll vision for my video, and you should find out a little bit more about Nagoya, which is where some people stay and go to the race from there, but it's every bit of an hour on the train. Oh yeah, probably an hour to get there, and that's too much for me. So we stay in the lesser salubrious digs in Suzuka because it's closer. Now A&A, who's this made this comment? Z Clutch. A&A has a new business class product, don't they? And it's pretty good, I'm told. I think Jace went, Tyler went them or flew them. Maybe Ty's. I don't know. Jace might be going them today. I don't know. Do you have a car collection? Yes, nothing special. I have a Taraga, I have a FJ Cruiser, a 911 Turbo, a Macan, and we did have a Ute in the office, we got rid of it. The tour provides a bus to and from. Oh, the bus. I'll be interested to see how long that takes, because I've taken that freeway, that motorway, and it was at least 50 Aussie dollars each way in tolls, not that you'll have to pay that in a bus. But it just took forever with the traffic. I hated it. Most trying race you've covered? Oh, anything in the wet. It's just hard work and not enjoyable. And any really hot race I don't enjoy. Vegas was one of the bad days. I came from Scotland and that manhole stressed me out. They told us all to come back and then said, Lee, yeah, that was shocking. But as bad as that was for you, it was probably a godsend for me because that's what people wanted to know about. And the fact that I was there, I was on the spot, I could tell people what was going on was huge for my channels. No, I've never tried durian. I know it stinks. No, I haven't tried it. Do you know how to apply for work at the track? That means we get to watch the race. No, I did see lots of signs in Australia, apply to be a marshal. Don't know how to do it. I guess if you got onto the Grand Prix Authority, yes. Yeah, you do get great spots. But I think you wouldn't want to be a fire marshal having to dress up in all that kit on a hot day. They're special people. I featured one of those guys in my Men of the Paddock post, and for one of only a few times, Men of the Paddock did far better than Women of the Paddock, and Women of the Paddock was big. And I don't know whether it was Carl Fanson, my #1 image, or whether it was, what's his name? Max Futrell. Lots of comments about Max, who's a mate of Lando's and also is on the Quadrant team. I got on well with Max. I might have a chat with him about doing a video. See what he says, but good kid. Any leads on how to be part of an F1 crew in NY, New York? No. Ever had any interactions with? Yeah, Karen Chandok and I often chat. He's a nice fella. Yeah, we talk a lot. Talk a lot with Ted Kravitz. Get on very well with Ted. I like Ted. He's a funny guy. Might have seen me pop up a couple of times on his post-race Ted's Notebook. Have I tried the Stream Deck app on your mobile phone? Yeah, Jace uses it. Not big enough for me. But my guys in the office say I should get an iPad because you can get double the number of buttons. So instead of, what have I got? 32, you can get 64 on the one screen. Beautiful day. I'll give you guys a look out here over the ocean. This is the Indian Ocean out there, and it's quite lovely. And that's our sky today. No clouds. And the moon. Can you see the moon up there? Yes, the moon is visible. Now that's something we have rarely seen in China at the race, a blue sky. And to be fair too, you probably don't get to see it that often in Singapore. We have the clearest, bluest skies in our country. What's my opinion on Ricciardo's situation? Well, I'll go by the reports because I think they're from much more in the know people than I, that Daniel has 2 bad races before he gets swapped. If he does poorly in both of these Japan and Chinese GPs, I don't think Red Bull will continue because that's what I've read. And that'll be sad. I'm hoping that something good happens. He must be due some good luck, surely. And I don't know why. Do you know why he's not driving well? Or is just Yuki just way better? Who knows? I don't tend to focus on that sort of stuff. I just focus on the stuff that I can see in a photograph. What have we got here? What laptop would you recommend? What is this? This is a 16-inch MacBook. It's the very best. And if there's a better one, there might be a better one than that. I might be getting that. I don't. Well, I in answer to Dante's question, what software do I use for video editing? I used, what's this? And I haven't edited a video now in a long time. What is this one called? I should know this. My editor uses Premiere, but I got familiar with Final Cut, but my videos were nowhere near as good as what Jack's are using Premiere because he knows it so well. John Tyson, thank you for your super chat. Would you recommend Slipstream preset pack for landscape? Yeah. Look, I use one preset called Turbo on every single photo that I take with Formula One because it's an instant pop. Not a huge, because with the stuff we take, we can't be going and dramatically altering it. If I'm putting stuff up to Getty Images, it can't be completely different to what the eye sees. And bear in mind, I shoot RAW. So when you get a RAW photo, it's quite flat. So I use that straight away, and it does enough to lift it. But then each photo will need something specific. So I'd say, yeah, and they're priced at such that they're not a lot of money, and it's a good starting point. So I would say yes. Where do I go for a holiday? Well, we go to Japan skiing, and we're going to Africa for wildlife. So they're the two family holidays where I take all the family and their girlfriends. And it's a great thing because there's no work. And with skiing in Japan, because we stay on the mountain, it's not like New Zealand where if you want to ski, you got to catch the bus up. It's an hour up, and then once you're there, you're pretty much stuck there all day. If you forget something in the room, you're not coming back and getting it. Well, we stay on the mountain, so you can ski back down and think, oh, I've done an hour and a half. That's enough for the morning. I might go out in the evening. That's what I like. Meet and greet in Perth. No, I'm not even in Perth. I go back to Perth. I'll do a meet and greet at the airport. If you happen to be on the same flight as me and you see me, say hi. Last race for Lewis in Mercedes at Abu Dhabi. Yeah, and then of course Australia gets him for the first time in a race, although he'll be in red in Bahrain for testing next year. Are you having to do any more planning for your trips this year due to the more separate videos? No, I wouldn't go to China for anything. Well, I'll go for you, Terry. I can tell you that the procedure to get in is onerous, and one has to be, well, for my visa, I got a J2 visa, which is a journalist visa, and I'll run you through, and I'll do this in the video that's coming up, but I'll run you through the plan. We get this note 4 weeks ago. Right, you've got to fill in this form if you're coming to Japan. So you fill the form in, your name, your passport, whatever. Then the circuit, someone in China, the organiser, then goes to the Shanghai Ministry of whatever and says, right, prepare a letter to invite Kim to come to this race. So we get a letter from the government. That's sent to the embassy that you choose to get your visa from. So in my case, it was Perth. So that I don't see that letter. That just sits at the embassy. Then we get all this online stuff we have to do with your mum's name, your dad's name, your wife, your kids, ages, where you went to school. It's just phenomenal what you have to provide. And you fill that in, and then you get invited to go and apply, and then you take that, and there's a whole lot more that I've forgotten about too. I need a letter stating what stories I'd done on China in the past year. I didn't do anything, so I just had to say no, I haven't done anything. You need to get a letter from your employer. Now, I'm my employer, so I had to write and say Kim is an employee of Messages on Whole Australia, and he represents our company, so I had to get that letter. Then I get another letter from me saying something else, I can't remember. Then you had to fill in a declaration of all your equipment that you're going to bring in, and you can't bring any more or any less in there. You got to, and that's 3 weeks prior, so you better not lose anything or buy anything new and want to take it. And then you have to take all that paperwork in, and as I did, I get in there and say, oh no, we need these other things. Oh, you didn't say that in the first instance. No, but we need it now. So I got to drive back to Lancelin, that's an hour and a half back, and then the next day go up there's another hour and a half, give them all the information they want, and then come back and then get another phone call saying we need another letter now. So hopefully they've got all they need, and next week they will be issuing a visa. Yeah. But if you want to do it, you have to play the game. That's how it works. Is the fondue really that good? Yeah. I tell you, I'm about to book a flight, and it's costing me an extra $100 to go via Zurich, but I'm going to do it just for that fondue. You should do a meet and greet in Abu Dhabi. Yeah, I do one, don't I? Yeah, I do one on the... maybe I didn't, but I'll do one on the other side of the track, behind the main grandstand this year. Where do I stay in Shanghai? Out near the track somewhere. It's just, there's no social scene, and because we're obviously Australian, a foreigner in a country like China, no one's terribly much interested in talking to you unless you're with F1 people, which there'll be some there. But I did find a very good concierge at this hotel, and he's been excellent. And I'll be doing a video, if you've been with me the whole video, you'll know that I'm doing a video in Shanghai on the Wednesday prior, talking about the unique place that Shanghai is. That's a bit messy there, isn't it? Well, it's all Tonya's computer gear and power supplies. Yeah, that'll be a good video. And I have got a guide, which is great, and it's a reasonable price, and she knows about the city, and she's happy to be on my video. So you'll meet Summer. And you know what? I watched a video and I got this idea of getting a guide because I watched this guy's video. He said, I rented a girlfriend for a day in China. And there's a service where you can rent a girlfriend. It's phenomenal. And then I watched another one about scams. So I'm hoping that this girl can tell me a bit about that girlfriend thing, and that somebody, because what I want to do is actually split up with her out in the Bund, which is the main area, and just see if I'm accosted by scammers, and maybe she can hold the camera a long way away, and then I have a radio mic on, and I just want to get to hear what they say, because I've seen a couple of videos and they are ripe. And I remember last time I was there, and that was going back 5 years ago, that indeed there's lots of people trying to scam you. Got to have your wits about you. Top 3 predictions for the Japanese GP. It will rain, hopefully at the start, because those pictures 2 years ago at the start were stunning. I sent Jace up there, and he got some reasonable pictures, but all the action was up the top half of the frame, and it should have been down the bottom. He learnt his lesson, as we all do. Other predictions. Max will win, of course. It was just a fluke that he didn't win last week. What made you fall in love with F1? Standing in the garage, Abu Dhabi 2016, listening to Daniel Ricciardo talk to his race engineer. It was all very calm, very quiet, very special. And I thought, right, I want to photograph this sport. And I did. Hello, Ronit. You need to rent as a girlfriend for a video? No, I've got a guide. But I want to find out more about that. Maybe I'll find someone. Maybe I'll find a Westerner with a girlfriend there, and they'll be happy to talk. But you should go and search that YouTube video. It was fascinating. And read the comments too. Do you have a guess at what the date will be for Melbourne next year? Yeah, well, if you're thinking about Melbourne, it'll be the first race. So it'll be end of February, early March. So I'd book every single weekend from, say, last weekend of Feb through to mid-March. Can't go wrong. Cancel the ones that they don't race at. I've been to India, but unless you have a race, I won't be coming back. I'm not a very good tourist. No, I like skiing. Oh, I did see somewhere that Kazakhstan has some very good value skiing. And of course, if you want to share a private jet, I've booked a jet from Monaco from Nice to Barcelona after the Monaco GP. So if you're looking to get to Barcelona that night, as I wanted to and couldn't find any way of getting there, I've done a deal with IncyJets, and we have a 8-seater. There's still 3 seats left on it. And if you have a look at my story post, or you email me at kim@kimelman.com, I'll tell you more. If you've got 1,500 to 2,000 euros per person, you might get yourself a seat on this private jet, which will be a buzz, because I've never done that before, and I'm looking forward to it. After the Monaco Grand Prix. Aussie F1 Tourist is now a backer of the channel. Thank you, Aussie F1 Tourist, who's in Japan shortly. What starter cameras do you recommend? Oh, I don't know. I don't know any other cameras except my R3s and R5s. You do want something that does a number of shots per second, a good number. You don't need what I do, R3s, what is it, 15 or 30 or something like that. And there's a mode on the R3 that allows me to take 150 frames a second, but just for maybe half a second or a quarter of a second. I tried to use it last week, but unfortunately I lost where to change that setting. And when you're out on track, you just don't have 3 minutes to struggle through a menu. But really, I'm going to make a note here to go and find out what that is. But yeah, you definitely want 7 frames a second at least. I do. Phil, my picture editing's done by me. Posting to Getty and the like is done by Jace. And my videos are done by a guy called Jack, who's full-time with me now. Is 195 frames, and you get 50 shots in a quarter of a second. Yeah. Luke, help me. What menu allows me to change to that? And I'll tell you why that's a very valuable setting. It's because sometimes, if I'm shooting with a lens where I want the whole car to nearly fill the lens, you've got to, if you're taking one shot or if you're taking 7 frames a second, the car would hardly ever be in the right spot. But if you're shooting at, 195 frames a second, You can get the car in exactly the right position, but you only have it for a quarter of a second. So if you go too early, you might not get it in shot at all. If you go too late, it might be past your window. But it's a very valuable setting to have. And you realise that you can't do 190 frames a second for 3 or 4 seconds because it's simply too much information to put into the memory. See you Friday, says Aussie F1 Tourist. Yes, you can only take one camera body and 3 lenses. You take an R3. Well, I take an R3. I take a 100 to 300, 15 to 35, and probably a 6. Although 600 and 1 to 300 are 2 very heavy lenses. But I still carry the 1 to 300 over my shoulder. I don't use a monopod. And I use it for driver arrivals. Drix, you should go, if you're a YouTube member, there's a video on my, available only to YouTube members, free, the money side of F1. Have a look at that. Have I been to Bathurst for a race? Yeah, I had put my car in the 12-hour, and it came 6th going back in 2008, GFC year. Terrible year, business-wise, but that was a good fun event. I didn't drive it. Well, I did go for a lap in it with, I had Aaron Karate. Who else was driving? Steve Jones and another guy whose name escapes me. Did you like your Christmas present? Mark Harrison. What was my Christmas present? I don't think I got a Christmas present, but I did buy myself. And hey, I'll just bring something up. Somebody sent me some alcohol, 3 bottles of alcohol with no names. Is that a veiled clue, Mark Harrison? Did you send me a bottle of Southern Comfort, a bottle of vodka, and a bottle of something else? Yeah, because that was intriguing that we didn't know where this had come from. I'll be keen to see if that was you. Any desire to get the 24 to 105? Oh, that would be good. 24 to 105 and then a 100 to 300 in 2 lenses. Somebody also told me there's a 10 to 20, like 222. I'm keen to hear back from this fellow about this gift. When are you leaving for Japan? Shortly. And I'm taking an aeroplane. The shirt looks super comfortable. Yeah, this is a nice shirt. And it's been a while since I mentioned these hats, but coming up shortly, you're going to be able to buy my own bucket hats. Look at that. Stay passionate. Aeroplane, kangaroo. Plain, my signature here. Comes in this colour. Also comes in this colour. It fits my head perfectly. And I have to be very careful because if these are at all loose, and I wear these on track, and it blows off on the track, I'm in a power of strife. So these are size L, which is, I've got it in the details, I think it's 23 inches is this measurement around here. 2 colours. And for those of you who watched a recent video, notice there's no Tasmania, because I'm having the artwork redone. For those Tasmanians who picked up on that, and thank you. But yes, you can indeed buy those soon. I don't know when, maybe in the next couple of weeks. And they'll be shipped to most places. Mark Thompson, Clinton Brown is one. Clive Mason's been very good to me. They're probably the 2 main ones. Mark Sutton, obviously. What did you do before F1? Oh, I've got several companies. Have a look at kimelman.com. My story is there. Am I able to photograph the eclipse at all? I know you are on the No, the eclipse has to be, we have to be in the right spot. I was last year, and you might have seen my pictures from the one up north. That was a stunning, stunning day. What's the go here? I've sent a few questions, but no response. No, I've got to see them. How many questions am I getting, Steve? I'm getting hundreds, and I'm telling stories and seeing a fraction of them. But by all means, if you've got a question, you want to be seen, when a super chat question comes up, it's like, whoa, pay attention to me. Otherwise, I'm looking out to sea here and thinking of stuff to talk about, and then sometimes the questions just completely disappear off the screen. And we've been going 94 minutes. Oh, I should have done a video. I should have been upstairs recording a video. Does it rain? Yeah, it does rain in winter. Not a lot, but yeah. And this is what I see out to sea. Those boats out there, they are lobster boats, crayfish boats. They go out and catch lobsters for the world. Does Alonso have a history of brake checking? No idea. No idea. What a view. It is a view, and it's quite remarkable to have. It's absolute beachfront. There's no road in front. There's a little bicycle path down there, which is lovely. If I woke up one day and wanted to do what you do, what would be the best way to do it? Well, do what I did. You have to do. I can only tell you what I did, and I worked in a bank for 2 years, and then I worked on a radio station, then I started my own business, and then I decided to come and do this. So I don't know how you would get into Formula One now. You'd have to have a look at the FIA website and see what the media accreditation requirements are, and then see whether or not you fit. I'm 2 hours north of you. Chris, you must be, well, it's not Geraldton. You must be prior to Geraldton. No, it's not on Airbnb. It's just for me. How do you notify if you're doing a meet and greet? Oh, on Instagram, typically 2 or 3 days prior, because I don't know what my schedule is until a couple of days out. So some races just there's too much to do, and others there's no interest. So like in Saudi and Bahrain, there's not very well known at all, so I wouldn't bother with that. But somewhere like Australia was crazy. And I apologise to Milton Brownrigg, who was waiting to catch up with me, and there were so many people, because I was going to do 15 minutes. We did 30, and then I had to run. And he was down the far end, and there would have been 150 people there, so I apologise to those that I didn't get to. And that'll be the same in Coda. That's big. CBA clerk? No, I worked for the ANZ Bank. Yeah, there was a lot of people in Kota, but typically we get through them quickly there. Yeah, okay, well, a couple of final questions, then I'll leave you to go and make sure you register to win those $1,900 worth of goodies on my Instagram page, and you have to be a subscriber of YouTube and follow me on Instagram and follow the rules there, or you'll see the pinned post. Anyway, one final question. What do we got? Most dangerous thing I've done for an F1 pick? Nothing dangerous, but we stand in spots where we're allowed to stand, but probably the most frightening spot, the bottom of Eau Rouge during a race. It's you can't do it too long, and that cameraman that does it for hours, he's incredible. Yeah, it does have a bigger fence in front of him, but we have no fence above the waist-high Armco. They're coming past at 300, maybe faster, and it just creates this tremendous noise, vacuum of wind, and I think the most I did it for was about 7 minutes during a race, and I thought, nah, it's just not worth it. All right, my friends, I wasn't shooting, by the way. And that person asked a question about Rome on his fire shot. No, that was COVID year, and we weren't allowed to shoot. So, my friends, how do I stop this? I'll say goodbye, and indeed thank you for viewing.